Hello, Big K. Mr. Jackson. Amos. You doing it, Ricky? Deborah. Kat. We'll give a few more minutes for others to come on here, and then we'll get started with tonight's study. Glad to see you all joining us. Pastor Gwen. Just another minute, a little less than a minute or so, and we'll get going with tonight's Bible study. All right? Okay. Pastor Linda. All right. Well, let's get going to tonight's Bible study. Well, welcome to tonight's Bible study. It is a fundamental walk or read through the Bible with the commentary that I share with you. It's my own commentary, and therefore there are no copyright issues. So you're free to reshare it, tweet it out, and share it with those in your network. As a matter of fact, we certainly appreciate if you would invite others from your network to join us. So tonight we're going to look at John the 8th chapter. We're going to look at verse 1 through 11. We'll look at John the 8th chapter, verse 1 through 11. All right. And tonight's topic will be conspiracy trap cancellation. Conspiracy trap cancellation. All right. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about conspiracy trap cancellation. All right, and I won't have to define what a conspiracy is. Everybody knows what that is. That means when something is set up on purpose. Okay, they have conspired. They have devised a ploy or a plan to do certain things. All right, and that's what a conspiracy is. Now, and see, what you have to realize is that there is a plot of the enemy in many cases against you to draw you into an unwinnable place. You see, the enemy has a ploy, has a plan against you to draw you into an unwinnable place. All right. So what the enemy will do is he will watch you long enough until he discovers a button he can push to try to draw you out. You get it? All right. You got that? That is a ploy. That is a conspiracy. There is a ploy of the enemy. And he wants to draw you out into what he believes to be an unwinnable situation, an unwinnable place. And if you're not careful, you will fall for it, and it will be unwinnable for you if you fall for it. All right. So what he does is he will watch you long enough to find your button. All right. So we're going to look tonight at the case of Jesus. And it turns out the button that the enemy is looking to push against Jesus is called compassion. The enemy is going to try to push the button of compassion. And guess what? That's how he draws many of you out. You know, there are a lot of things you could take, but when somebody picks on somebody else, it just bothers you, doesn't it? And it draws you out. It riles you up. It gets you frustrated. And that's what the enemy knows. The enemy knows that when you love your children, he's going to do something to them. We know when you love your neighbors, he's going to do something. He's going to try to do something to rile you up. So he knew the button. He couldn't push any other button. Couldn't push a fear button on Jesus. You get it? Knowledge button, authority button. But he decided to try to push now the compassion button. So let's take a look at that. Ready to go? John, the 8th chapter. We're talking about what? Conspiracy, trap, cancellation. And the button he's pushing on Jesus might be the same one you have, is that compassion button. All right. But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. At dawn, he appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered around him and sat down to teach them. All right. Now look at this. Here's something you want to look out for. Everybody that's coming to hear you teach is not interested in your teaching. They're more interested in angles and information to see where you are, to see how to use it against you. That's just what happens to you. And many times, the better you are at it, the bigger crowds you draw, because the more enemies are going to show up to try to take you out. The enemy doesn't like it when you're good at what you do. I don't care what it is you do. I'm going to say that again. The enemy doesn't like it when you're good at what you do. I don't care what it is you do. Okay? If you're good at shooting marbles, the enemy will show up at the marble game. That's just how the enemy is. And everybody shows up at the marble game is not interested in playing. They're interested in finding an angle by which they can defeat you. So they'll sit there long enough, sit with you, eat with you, go out with you, go to the movie with you, bring stuff over to you just to get close to you to find your button. All right? So the teachers of the law and the Pharisees, so after teaching, we surmise from his teaching, they got the idea, maybe we can push the compassion button. You get it? They watch you long enough to figure out what they could push against you. That's what the enemy does. So the teachers of the law and the Pharisees, not just one group, but they got together, they teamed up. Groups that barely get along will team up against you. Okay, brought a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in adultery." Now be careful when people start flattering you too much with titles. You get it? All right? Watch out when they start flattering you too much with titles. All right. So it said, Jesus, teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now, what do you say? Listen, not everybody that's asking you questions are really interested in your answer as they are in an opportunity to trap you. Be careful that you just start running off the mouth every time somebody asks you a question. Some of you need to take a breath every now and somebody asks you a question. All right? They run and say, "What's the pastor up to today?" "Oh, he's down there." Chill out. Maybe they don't need to know. "What's your mama doing today, baby?" "Oh, she's over there at Mr. So-and-so." Talking too much. You're not obligated to start to run off at the mouth when people ask you questions. Hashtag guard your mouth. All right? Because that's exactly what Jesus did. They used this question to trap him in order to find a basis to accuse him. All right? They were looking for a basis to accuse him. But Jesus bent down and started to write in the ground with his finger. He decided to chill out. All right? All right? You see, here's something you need to recognize. Now, just because you agree with someone doesn't mean you have to go on the attack. Obviously, Jesus didn't agree with the conduct of the woman. But I imagine if they had asked him, he wouldn't agree with the conduct of the men that were with the woman. You see what I mean? All right? Okay? As a matter of fact, maybe they should have asked the men, why was she caught in adultery? I'm not sure. You get it? But not everybody, you don't have to agree with people, but that doesn't mean you go on the attack. There are many things you're going to be around today that you won't agree with. It doesn't mean you are obligated to attack. Let me say it again. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean you're obligated to attack. Now, a lot of my good Christian friends are going to hear this message tonight. They're going to hear part of it, and they're going to take a snippet out of it, and they're going to misinterpret everything I just said. Don't worry about it. That's part of life, people. You get it? We have a tendency to believe as Christians that our attack ought to be visible and ought to be with force every time. That is a form of warfare. But there is also this thing of conspiracy trap, this principle I call conspiracy trap cancellation, that will allow you to attack like a stealth plane, and the enemy won't know that you took them out. And that's what Jesus is doing. You see, you don't want to destroy your reputation to try to settle someone else's attitude. Don't destroy your reputation, try to settle someone else's attitude and their actions, their negativity. You get it? You don't always have to go negative when they go negative. All right? So when they kept questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw the stone. Oops. Again, he stooped down, he chilled out, he relaxed, he stayed calm, he didn't panic. And that's one of the problems that many of you, why you cannot get those traps canceled out of you, because you panic in the midst of the trap. Don't panic. Stay cool, chill out, watch your mouth. All right, so here it is. So Jesus rolled on the ground again with a finger. When he kept questioning them, he straightened up and said to them, let one of you who is without sin cast the first stone. Again, he stooped down, rolled on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time. Watch this. The older ones first, until Jesus was left. Watch this. You see, notice it's about special attention to the older ones first. Why? Look at it. You see, what God will do when he starts to cancel that conspiracy against you, he's going to go at the head first. As soon as when the young ones look around, they saw the old ones gone, they thought it was a good idea for them to leave too. When that conspiracy starts to get canceled, you're going to see it starting from the top. Let me say that again. When that conspiracy is getting canceled against you, it's going to start at the top. It doesn't have to start at the bottom. It's going to start at the top. In other words, it's going to go for the big dog first. You get it? So the big dogs left, the little ones walked right on away. All right, let's see what else we have here. Standing there, Jesus straightened up and said, "Woman, where are they that accuse you? Do not one condemn you?" "No, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you." Jesus said, "Go now and leave your life of sin." What Jesus did here was, okay, he turned the table on those who believe that they were superior to this woman. No doubt, probably some of their first cousins might have been involved in that adultery, okay? Or some of their friends, they had to know about it. They caught them. You don't catch them in the act of adultery and the other party's not there. But they thought they were superior to this weak woman. They saw themselves to be above the weak. And that's how conspiracy traps start. Conspiracy traps start when they believe they find your weakness. Let me say it again. Conspiracy traps start when they believe they have found your weakness. That's why I always like to say to people, keep your business off the street. These days, it means off of social media, because the enemy will find your weakness because you told it to them. And you say, "Well, I wasn't telling them. I was telling my testimony." Like I said, just keep your business out the street. It helps keep the enemy out your business. You get it? So that's what Jesus was doing. Jesus, by writing this and said, "I don't need to say anything on this." But what he did was turn the table so that their physical attack became a spiritual search from inside. Their physical attack became a spiritual search from inside them. Now the spirit starts to work on them, because here's what happens when you start arguing with people. They start to hear with the ears and not with the spirit. Let me say that again. When you start to argue with people, they start to hear with their ears, not with the spirit. If you really want to, let me say this, let me slow down. If you really want to have impact on someone's life, speak to them in a fashion or use methods that let it get to their heart before it clutters their mind. Let me say that again. Speak to them or work with them in a fashion where it gets to their heart before they clutter their mind. That's why it's hard for people like me to work with people who panic, because as soon as they see something, they start screaming and carrying on. My head gets so cluttered, my spirit can't work. Be careful if you're in relationships or situations where the first thing you hear is the panic out of someone's mouth before your heart can figure out what to do. Watch for that. That's how the enemy will trap you. But you have conspiracy trap cancellation in your favor. All right. So what happened here in verse 11? Said, "There's no one to condemn you." Jesus said, "Neither do I." You see, conspiracy trap cancellation lets you transfer hope to an otherwise condemned situation. Conspiracy trap cancellation lets you transfer hope to an otherwise condemned situation. And catch this. Oftentimes, it helps those that tried to trap you in the situation. More times than not, it rebounds to the people who tried to trap you. The ones who tried to trap Jesus had to walk away from their conspiracy. And that's what you really want, isn't it? But someone said, "Well, yeah, but I wanted to punch him." You didn't need to punch him. Conspiracy trap cancellation will help you keep your hands to yourself so the Spirit of God can go against them. It will help you keep your hands to yourself so the Spirit of God can work against them. That's why you learn to stay calm in the midst of conspiracies, in the midst of things coming against you, because your spirit needs to work. But if you start to get too excited, you start to get too tough, too rough and ready to punch, it clutters your mind and blocks your spirit. Hashtag free my spirit. Hashtag free my spirit. Okay? That's what conspiracy trap cancellation does. It frees your spirit to hear God move so that he will speak to the situation without you saying a word. God will speak to the situation without you saying a word against it. All right? Now, notice I said that it's a trap. Let me make a point here. Then I'm going to summarize a few things. Notice I said it's a trap. This is not a leading of God into the situation. Let me say this again. This is not a direct, okay, or explicit leading of God into the situation. Stay with me for a minute and catch this. It is a trap. Here's how you know the difference between a trap. Because some of you say, well, the Lord led me into this, so I got to fight my way out of it. He didn't lead you into that, okay? But people, well, how you know God didn't lead me and didn't lead this? Here's how you know. This is a trap, not a leading. Watch this. In a trap, there will be collateral damage against someone weaker. In a trap, there will be collateral damage, or at least potential collateral damage against someone weaker. In this case, the woman. There'll be a pawn when it falls into a trap. In other words, something's got to bait the trap. You get it? There'll be a bait. You get it? There'll be collateral damage. Okay? You got to bait the hook to catch the fish. The bait is collateral damage. That's how you know it's a trap. In a leading, there is no collateral damage. For example, when Jesus was led of the Spirit into the wilderness, you know the story. It was only Jesus out there. There was no collateral damage. When Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went into the fire furnace, there was no collateral damage. On the other hand, in the Garden of Eden, when the enemy came against Eve, there's collateral damage to Adam. You get it? That's what happens. In the case of David with Bathsheba, there was collateral damage, his firstborn son and Bathsheba. You get it? So there's a difference. So a trap. In a trap, there's collateral damage, and usually it's against a weaker pawn. It's against the bait. This woman was there only to bait Jesus. But Jesus naturally had a spirit of conspiracy trap cancellation, and he knew that his conspiracy would be canceled if he himself practiced the principles. So let me show you how to know it's a trap. I want to show you 5 ways to know it's a trap. I just told you the collateral damage. That's the result of it. Well, let me show you how to know it and how to know God's not in it. It's a trap, and how you know God's not in it. 5 principles came out of this scripture. Let me give them to you quickly here. You ready? 5 principles from this scripture that tells it it's a trap. And that way you know what to watch for. You know what to listen for. Number 1, you know it's a trap. All right, here it is. It speaks with lip service, not revelation. It speaks with lip service, not revelation. These people were speaking lip service, not revelation. Watch for that lip service. Some of you get so flattered by titles and people patting you on the back and telling you how great you are, how swell you are, till you miss the lip service. You fall for the lip service and miss the revelation. Let me say it again. You get so caught up in it, you fall for the lip service and miss the revelation. You got it? So that's principle number 1. Number 2, it wraps itself in religion, not kingdom principles. It wraps itself in religion, not kingdom principles. Jesus was teaching kingdom principles, and they were trying to find a religious way to come after him. That's why they went and said, the law said, so-and-so said, this person told me. Didn't you hear what they said? They wrapped themselves in rules and regulations. I thought you said we couldn't sit on that side of the church. I thought you said we couldn't park in that location. I thought. You get it? That's what happened. Wrapped in religion, not kingdom principles. Number 3, it uses the weak to exploit its objectives. It uses the weak to exploit its objectives. It finds a weak target, a bait, and adds it to the equation. You follow? Instead of someone coming and saying, I have a problem, they say, I was talking to Sally, and she told me that Brenda had a problem with Reggie. You get it? When you see that, the first thing people want, well, what did Reggie do? Chill out. It's a trap. Number 4, it uses questions and accusations to incite discord. It uses questions and accusations to incite discord. Not all questions are really looking for an answer. They just want to hear what you're going to say. And that's one of the things that many people do. People will ask people questions and they think they are so brilliant that they can explain the answer to them. I just don't even try. When I realize that it's a question that doesn't have a meaningful answer, and if I gave that answer, it's going nowhere, you won't hear me reply more than twice. First time I reply, the second time, I'm out of there. Why? Because that will incite discord. You get it? Accusations incite discord. Okay? Number 5, and this is very important. It falls apart. This conspiracy, this trap, it falls apart in the face of wisdom and truth. It falls apart in the face of wisdom and truth. When God's wisdom comes in, it just falls apart. Someone will just hashtag me, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Okay? All right? It falls apart in the face of wisdom and truth, especially God's wisdom and truth. That's how you know it's a trap. That's how you know it's not going anywhere. You got it? So with that, let me share with you a definition that you can hang on to as you think about conspiracy trap cancellation. Ready? Here we go. Conspiracy trap cancellation is a deposit of wisdom from God into your spirit that gives you the tactics to discern and diffuse the intentional traps of the enemy without confusion or melee. You get it? All right? There's no mayhem. You've seen the commercials in the US, certainly, of mayhem. Without melee, okay? Without any mayhem, okay? So the conspiracy trap cancellation is a deposit of wisdom from God into your spirit that gives you the tactics to discern and diffuse the intentional traps of the enemy without confusion or melee. No try. You don't have to fight about it. It will give you the wisdom. That's how you know you're listening to God. Wisdom will speak well before you open your mouth. Write that down. Wisdom will speak way before you open your mouth. Wisdom will speak to you and will tell you how to differentiate it and how to discern it. All right? Got that? In other words, there's a smooth transition from the appearance of the ploy to the disappearance of the trap. There's a smooth transition from the appearance of the ploy, you see it, to the disappearance of the trap. There's no confusion. It appears to be without effort. No confusion, no fight, no melee, no argument. If it starts becoming an argument, you've missed the spirit of conspiracy trap cancellation. In other words, you can't cancel this trap with a fight. Now, a fight can get rid of the trap at some point. That's what happens. Yes, I do understand that principle. We'll teach that some other time. But there is a spirit of God that will let that trap be dissolved without you lifting a finger or without you raising a sweat. You'll be cool, calm, and collected, and the conspiracy will be canceled. Hashtag cancel mine now. Cancel mine now. Because there's one against you. All right? So what God does is God changes the narrative such that their ill will becomes your ministry success. God changes the narrative. He shifts the narrative. He shifts the whole atmosphere. He shifts the whole intent. Okay? He changes the narrative such that their ill will becomes your ministry success. What they took to be ill will, Jesus turned into his ministry. That's how you know it's conspiracy, trap, cancellation, because it takes their ill will and turns it into your ministry. Notice how they say turn into your fight, your battle, your posting all over Facebook to get people told. There may be a place for that, but that's not tonight's lesson. Okay, got it? So how do you set yourself then to be positioned for this? How many want to be positioned for this? Somebody say, I want to be positioned. You want to be positioned now? I want you to type it in there. I want to be positioned. I want to be positioned. Because I'm going to give you 3 principles that will position you with an attitude for conspiracy, trap, cancellation. And the way you'll know you received it, you'll talk less and let the Spirit of God move more. You will talk less and let the Spirit of God move more. And when you do talk, it will be to declare and decree the change that's happened. Ready? 3 things will get you there. Set your attitude. Number 1, believe that where you go, all right? Yeah. Blessings flow. Believe that where you go, blessings flow. In other words, believe that blessings flow wherever you go, however you like to write that, okay? Believe that where you go, blessings flow. That's number 1. So everywhere you go, you got to start to walk like, I believe a blessing about to happen. Wait a minute, they're laying a trap for me. Well, I know the trap's going to be laid, but the blessing's going to happen because I just walked in. You get it? Wait a minute, I thought your husband was mad at you. He can be mad all he wants to. When I walk in, it's going to all change. The whole atmosphere is going to shift because I'm walking with the spirit of conspiracy, trap, cancellation. I'm about to trap. God's about to cancel that trap that he had in his mind that was going to happen. I'm going to work today. Oh, they're going to get you when they get there. Well, they might get somebody, but it's not going to be me because I'm walking under the spirit of conspiracy, trap, cancellation. That has to be your attitude. Someone's going to get fired today. Well, if I do, I must be moved to another job because I am walking under the spirit of conspiracy, trap, cancellation. You get it? So number 1, believe that where you go, blessings flow. Number 2, stir peace, not discord. Stir peace, not discord. If you've got to keep jabbing at it and keep nagging about it and keep poking at it, that's not walking with this spirit. Okay? In other words, learn to keep your cool. That's what I mean. Stir peace, not discord. In other words, learn to keep your cool. Stop sweating all the time. Every time something happens, it's like the end of the world just came. You got it? All right? All right, you follow? Number 3, declare and decree change over chaos. Declare and decree change over chaos. So believe where you go, blessings flow. Stir peace, not discord. Keep you cool. Declare and decree change over chaos. That's what you've got to do. You've got to decree and declare that there's going to be change over the chaos in your situation. You see, there's a calm spirit state where your faith won't panic in the face of traps. There is a calm spiritual state where your faith won't panic in the face of traps. And you can experience it in your life when you take on the spirit of conspiracy, trap, cancellation. So there you have it. Conspiracy, trap, cancellation. That peaceful and calm state of God where you get to reside and watch the enemy dissipate, watch the enemy be eliminated from your situation without ever raising a hand or lifting a finger. So when the enemy lays clear traps across your path, seek God for the spirit of conspiracy, trap, cancellation, and receive the calm peace that gives change and opportunity to manifest itself in the lives of all who hear the decree to live differently. You be the difference maker in the midst of chaos because you are walking with conspiracy trap cancellation. This is Dr. Anthony Revis, Faith Ministers Church, Midland, Michigan, USA. God bless.